Buonasera, everybody. Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast. On this episode of the Milan Weekly Podcast, well, happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody. Let's go, baby. We've been lucky, and we got lucky again this weekend. We're going to talk the game Milan-Como. What a match, but is it the same story every week, Stevie? I don't know. We're going to, of course, talk about a little international break. So we're going to have a little break from Milan for a week before we come back and get you ready against Napoli. We got a lot of news going on, contract extensions, new chief brand officers. We got news on the stadium, possible kit leak, and I wasn't involved. All this going down tonight. And baby, well, what do you got to do? Let's start at the basics. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you're always up to date and notified when we're going live with our videos. Follow us on all of our audio platforms. And of course, if you want to support the channel, the super chats are open and become a part of our Patreon. Stevie, it's you, it's me. There's no Vinny T tonight. Let's go, baby. You ready?
Let's go.
Buonasera, everybody. Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast. I'm Fabio, joined by, of course, our co-host, Stevie P. Now, the home of Milan, where we give you only the truth. So help me God, Stevie. Now, while we may not be professionals,
Nor do we pretend to be, Fabio.
you're going to get it straight whether you like it or not. And I love this comment. We got to start with this one before we go in here. All right, where is it? Ain't no party like an MWP party. No Diddy, baby. Steve, how you feeling tonight, man?
We're feeling great. It's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all the Irish across the world who are probably either sleeping if they're in Europe or just getting their party started if they're anywhere in North America.
A lot of green beer flowing tonight. But, guys, let's start off at the top. Milan survives by a shoulder because, of course, Milan does not do anything easy. We need to suffer. There needs to be controversy. So let's get into it, Steve, all right? We got so much going on, guys. Before we start, of course, super chats are open. So if you want to be part of the channel, if you want to be part of the show tonight, super chat us a comment or question, and we will read it later on. But, Steve, let's get into it. 2-1 against Como. Of course, we had to start behind with a terrible first half because this is what Milan does. But let's go into your graphic here. Let me pull it up. All right, starting 11. Of course, we went with Jimenez. We went back, of course, with Tijani right behind them. We're playing Musa and Bondo as our midfield, Pulisic and Leao on the left and right. Back four, we went back with Walker. We had Gabia, Chow, and, of course, Theo Hernandez with Mignon back from suspension, I believe, this game. So let's talk about it, Steve. What were your thoughts about the starting 11? Were you happy to see Musa again in there, this time with Bondo?
Look, go down this path there. I saw some of our, our fellow Milan podcast and Milan content creators get, just really unfairly hammered in terms of like, oh, you don't like Musa and you're quote unquote racist for Musa because he's a. It's not that the point, Fabio. It's like, we try to put out content here, and it's exactly my my feeling, and it's been so for the last month, is that I don't think Musa does enough in that role to deserve a starting position. Now,
I agree.
can you tell me, Steve, are you absolutely like insane because Fofana has not been better? I get it. You can also say, who's this Bondo? I get it. But if
Warren
you
Bond.
take, if you take the sample size of Bondo, he knows his role. He knows what's asked of him, right?
Yeah.
Is he gonna make mistakes? Yes, absolutely. And same as Musa. Is he gonna make mistakes? I can live with the mistakes, but I cannot live with the fact that you find yourself in dangerous positions and you're a professional soccer player and you have trouble finding even the frame of the net. And that's just to give a few examples. In that position as a holding midfielder, you need to hold the midfield. That's your first and foremost mission as a starter, so that Tejani and others can do what they do best.
Yeah.
But I find with Musa, we're giving away the ball so much, it's just causing guys like Pulisic and Tejani to work very, very hard, guys. Very, very hard. And we're at a moment in the season where we need them we need them for the rest of these 8 games.
We do. And honestly, I would say that Musa being on the field was detrimental even to Bondo, because Bondo's yellow comes because Musa gets dispossessed very easily. And he puts Bondo in a spot that he has to foul him to kind of slow their counterattack down. And again, it's not, I agree with you. I'm also, you know me, I'm a homer when it comes to the two Americans that I have on the team. I want Musa to do well. So then it continues on, hopefully, on the national team. But the problem with Musa is that, like you mentioned, as a double pivot, hopefully you would be thinking a little more defensive minded. But he's always finding his place in the final third, and the ball finds him all the time, and he just 99.999% of the time, he does the wrong thing with it. And it is maddening to see. Honestly, I would prefer he didn't run up forward when they were counterattacking, when they have 3 or 2. Don't make it a 4. Just stay back, stay out of the way, so you're not even an option for them to pass it to. That's what I would say in regards to Musa. But
Yeah.
let's
There's
talk.
another thing. There's another thing.
Okay.
There's an important fact that comes up. Is not only does Musa cause Bondo to take that yellow, and we're forced, and Conceição does the right thing at halftime. We take out Bondo because he's on a yellow. We don't want to risk a red card. That's all we needed. We're already down. What does Musa do in the first 4 minutes of the second half?
Takes another yellow
He
like an
takes a
idiot.
card. This to me, Fabio, is where I really lose my nuggets. And then people say, Steve, you're too harsh. You're too harsh on people. But I understand, and I saw in the comments, and I think it's hold on a second, Milanismo. I agree with you 100%. He's young, he's dumb, and he's full of
You know what?
yeah. He needs to develop at a smaller club. And you know what? Maybe yes. He was at Valencia. Right? So I'm not saying Valencia is a small club. It's a club in Spain that competes. What just boggles my mind with this is that you keep on doing the same thing. And this is on Conceição. And I have to be fair. As much as I like Conceição, and I was really, really excited for him to come, and take over for Fonseca, which I did not like.
Yeah.
He's kind of making the same mistakes. He's giving too much of a rope to guys that are making mistakes. He did it with Yao Felix, and now he's doing it again with Musa. Like, we need to be able to start the best starting 11 week in and week out. And like I told Vinny last week, there's only so many times we're gonna come back from these deficits. We cannot go down. And if I knew for a fact that we would win every game that we would be down 1 or 2 goals, let's spot them one in the first minute so that you know what I
The
can
team wakes
enjoy the
up.
rest of the game because
Yes.
it's minestra riscaldata with this team. And Capello had harsh words for them. We're not going to talk about Bobo Ivan Zazzaroni, the Laziale. His takes are complete nonsense. But I have to agree. Besides the result, there's nothing really positive that came out of this game because we didn't play well. And unlike the Lecce game, where we did have some chances and they were, let's say, offside goals, we weren't even creating a lot of chances here. Besides Musa's non-goal,
Yeah.
we couldn't hit the
Yeah.
side of the barn. After that, we didn't really create much, Fabio, and that's what's
No.
concerning. It's very concerning.
No, we did have one opportunity, and it kind of leans to one of our talking points in regards of why do we keep starting so slow? Why do we need to go down first? D'Acuna, or as I was calling him, Acuna Matata, scores an unbelievable goal in the 33rd minute again. And if you were watching, you could see this coming. Besides the fact that Cutrone looked like a man possessed, he wanted that goal. He wanted to get back at us so badly. And Fabregas gave him the chance to start, put him up there, but they were easily the better team in the first half. So I ask you, is one of the things we wanted to talk about. It's the slow start. It's the same thing over and over and over again. But
Okay.
can you put your finger on why the slow start, Steve?
So we have to be careful with the slow start, okay? And this I've seen it across all the newspapers.
Yeah.
We score with Jimenez against Lecce in the first 4 minutes. It's not a slow start.
But it gets called back.
100%. We score again against Lecce before they go up, and it gets called back. Musa scores in the first 7 minutes. It's not a slow start.
It's true.
They are really psychologically damaged when things don't go their way. And for some reason, taking a goal that maybe they are or are not supposed to be taking, and again, that was a fantastic strike. I think Magnan doesn't see it till the end, and that's nothing. Not a lot of keepers will save that shot from the Cunha. But what worries me is that once you don't bury those chances in those first couple of minutes, the other team starts to get confident. We're in a season where we sit at ninth. The teams like Como, Udinese, Torino, Bologna, they're not scared of Milan right now because Milan sits in ninth, right? But if we score these chances, we start off quick and we score these chances, we're not starting slow anymore. We're taking the lead. I'm curious to see them with the lead after. That's the scary part because now we're chasing games all the time. And we're the one that has to kind of dictate the play, which we don't, but it falls our way. But I think it's a combination of multiple things where we don't take advantage of the chances that we create early. We take our pedal off the gas in whatever formation and system Conceição wants to work with, because after the Como game, I'm even more confused of what system he wants to play. Because it didn't look like we wanted to press. It looked like we wanted to absorb pressure. We took a goal. We almost took a second goal. And we were not pressing. We were not causing them any problems. They were getting out of their third very easily. And that's a problem for me.
Well, you mentioned their second goal, and their second goal comes with controversy, and we're going to get to it in a little bit. But because of that particular moment, again, our shining star, Captain America, he has this moment of magic again, where a beautiful pass by Tijani finds him, and he puts a great shot in low and hard, and the keeper can't get to it, and we get another clutch goal. I mean, What more can we say about Christian Pulisic? How important has he been to this team to even imagine where we would be without him, Steve?
You saw important player A and important player A1.
Yeah.
I think this team without Pulisic and Tijani Reindeer will be even worse than ninth place. They are really giving it their all. Does Tajani have bad games? Absolutely. Does Pulisic have bad games? Absolutely. But for the foremost of this, where are we? Match day 29?
Yep.
Of the 29 games, and Tajani has played a lot. Pulisic missed some time with injury. They've been important player 1 and important player 1A for this team. We cannot do without. And when Fonseca was sitting Pulisic, I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that he made.
And obviously, we'll touch more on Tijani, but let's talk a little bit about Leao. All right. Did he do enough this game? Do we feel that we should have expected more from him? He does have one particular chance where he kind of, I believe it's in the 22nd minute, he runs with the ball. He kind of takes the ball too far wide instead of positioning it back to Pulisic. And then when he actually does get the cutback, he cuts it back to nobody, missing both Pulisic and Musa completely. Somebody was saying, where the hell's Jimenez? I was like, I think he started it, so he's nowhere near it at the time. But again, what's your thoughts on Leao's game this past weekend?
Look, I didn't mind it. I didn't find he was extraordinary. I find he was more engaged. I like, the reaction. We spoke about it last week against Lecce when we took the lead. I think he needs to look at Reindeer, and he needs to look at Pulisic, and I think he might be feeling the pressure. He might be feeling the pressure that maybe Milan's not Leao dependent anymore, because if you take him out of this game, he does nothing to change this result, because it becomes from the foot of Tajani and the foot of Pulisic both times.
Even
he's
with a
a
little
weapon.
Tammy, little Tammy influence.
Exactly. And he's a weapon, and I don't disregard the fact that he's a weapon. But he's a weapon sometimes with no bullets. And when he's a weapon with no bullets, everybody kind of starts to say, well, maybe I don't need to double him anymore. And when you don't double him anymore and he's still not creating, then you start asking, what's wrong with my weapon? And that's been my question this whole season, is what's wrong with Leao? What changed from, a Scudetto winning year, and then, we regressed a little bit, and everybody can shoot out all the stats that you want, in a long period of time. But if we look and when we see right after the Scudetto year, Fujis and Funyan puts it in the chat, it seems like he lost his mojo. The smile is there, and I think that's just something that comes up all the time. But I don't think the smile is there for the right reasons, and that's a bit scary.
You know what? These are all good points, guys, and that's why we're gonna kick it to you guys here just for a minute. Just what do you guys think? What do you think the reason for Milan's slow starts are? How important has Pulisic been to this Milan? Where would we be without Pulisic? And do you think Leao is doing enough? Yes, maybe not this particular game, but overall, do you still think he's doing enough? We want to know your thoughts on this particular topic, guys. All right, Stevie, let's go. Let's go to the next topic now. Now, we were talking, let's get to it. Como's second goal, or would have been second goal, because it comes with a little bit of controversy, of course. Just barely offsides after the VAR decision. This would have what felt like it was going to put the game to bed for us. Como was going to go up 2-0. So I ask you, Steve, do you think it was offsides? I know it was by a kneecap or whatever, an elbow.
On the Fubu match channel commentary, it was the shoulder, and I don't think they had. I don't think they had any words. Like, guys, this is ludicrous, guys, and I feel bad, and in doing the thumbnail, I had to put Fabregas. They were the better team. They were the team that was showing that they really wanted this game more so than Milan. They would have went up to nothing, and the way they were playing, which is much better than Lecce, because they were actually dictating play. I don't think Milan gets back in this game, and for me, that's not offside, and it's not offside because I don't believe that changes or gives someone the advantage, because it takes away from a fantastic run. And if you see in the thumbnail, you'll notice number 80 is out of position again, and he's well, again. It's not to cause a stir, but he is out of position again, and that's a great run and a good finish. Unlucky for Manya, because I had my son say, "Well, it went right through his hands." Yeah, Gianfranco, it did go through his hands after it deflected and hit the floor and bounced
Yeah,
3 feet up.
that's a hard thing to, and on the goal, like immediately the ball is a tenth of a second in front of you, and then it changes direction. Like, we can't blame Mike on that one.
This is and it's happened to us before. So I need to stay consistent when I say I don't agree with this. The way they're looking at offside, the way they're sometimes it's microscopic, sometimes it's very blatant. I find that the linesmen are even scared to even call offside, and I know it's part of the whole VAR.
They tell them, let it play
They
out.
tell them,
If,
let it play
we
out.
can review it. If you stop it and say it was offsides, and then we go back and we see it wasn't, then yeah, I can understand that. So
Yeah. And again, for me, that's not offside. I think that goal was a legit goal, and we got lucky.
So we were close to dropping points. You think if we go 2-0 down, we're dropping, if not 3 points, we're definitely dropping 2 points.
We are dropping 3 points. I don't think mentally they were going to get back into this game. Lecce was a different beast. I think Lecce playing away actually helped us.
Yeah.
Lecce playing at home, excuse me, and Milan playing away. Milan getting booed out, and we had Ralib from Milan Club Montreal, who surprised us all and seemed to have been at the San Siro, was messaging us in the chat and saying, guys, like everybody is booing them off the pitch at halftime, and we had the Curva Sud not there anymore. They take 15-minute breaks before the game actually starts. So it's a compounding thing of negativity at this club. And I said it, and I'm going to say it again and repeat it here. They need to find a way to take out the toxicity out of this Milan.
I think that's only going to happen in the summer, unfortunately. Now, and so you're thinking it wasn't. So you think Fabregas and Como fans losing their minds in regards to, you think it was fair, not just unlucky, right?
I think it would. I think it was a legit goal for them. I think they should be losing their mind. If I'm a Milan fan and that happens to me, I am losing my nuggets.
Well, guys, again, we're gonna kick it to you here. All right. Do you think VAR did the right thing? Now, take off your Milan glasses. Look objectively. Do you think that second goal for Como should have stand? What's your decision regarding? Were Como fans right to be insane? I don't know. To me, listen, shoulder, thumbnail, toenail, I don't care. All right. If they say it comes off, God forbid we get a call our way. So that's just my 2 cents. But we want to know your 2 cents. Leave a comment. All right. Let's go, Steve. Now we got to get to controversy. Of course, our team is just, even when we start to turn the game around, there's something stupid that has to happen and we have to talk about it. Right. So in the end, VAR again gets involved, this time in the 91st minute, right? VAR sees red when, the ref on the field only saw yellow. But but it's my friend. And of course, I'm talking about the incident with Kyle Walker on camera going to the ref and trying to prevent him from throwing Dele Alli out for a clear red card foul on Loftus-Cheek. What an insane thing to do. So I ask you, because this got me heated, Steve, what the hell was Walker doing? Defending his friend over his own team? Please make it make sense.
There is nothing on God's green earth that would make sense of this. I understand, and reading up a little bit into the situation, I understand that Walker and Dele Alli are friends. Dele Alli has almost 2 years not playing soccer. That's great. I'm happy that he came back. Unfortunately, a dumbass, stupid challenge that could have really hurt Loftus-Cheek, who just came back, who's also English. So it seems like Walker and Loftus-Cheek may not be friends. And then after, it's like, look, Walker, I don't know. This is what irritates me about this, okay? And I'm going to just say it here, and I don't care. Guys, this is something that it has to be team first.
Yeah.
It's team first. Your friends after. We see, Italians in the national team. Does Barella really really love Tonali? I don't know, right? But if Milan and Inter are playing each other, they're gonna go at it. They might be best friends, but once you hit the pitch, it's business time, right? This is a game, and for them, for us fans, it's a game that we throw our blood, sweat, and tears at this team, and we expect that you wearing the jersey, shut the fuck up. You got a red card. He's gonna miss a game, and we'll see him in another game. But don't start trying to influence, because no one's gonna do it for you, Kyle Walker. You're gonna take a red. No one's gonna come to your rescue. He took a red. It was a stupid play.
Yeah.
VAR decided that it's a red. Again, this is VAR being used for the right reasons. Hey, come and look at it. You think it's a yellow? We're telling you this is a red. This is a red. But this is, again, Walker coming from a club like Manchester City, where he's won everything. Premier League, Champions League. You understand? Now it's La Femme is not there anymore. It's there because this is a new adventure. He's not in boring ass England where it's fucking gray all the time. He's in beautiful Milan. It's fashion week or fashion month. The food is 100 times better than England. Everything's going his way, so it's great. But Kyle, buddy, Stevie P, Fabio, we're telling you, don't do that shit, because they'll notice. They don't care that you're gonna go with your water like this. We don't care. We don't care. We care that you give 110%, which, again, on the effort side, I have to admit that I was wrong. I find that he's giving that effort. But then don't go things like this. Don't bring your personal friendship in here in a 90-minute game where your team is clearly struggling mentally. And even there's a picture of Gabbia. I wasn't able to find one that
he grabs him immediately.
Yeah,
as almost
he
to
grabs
say,
him.
"Come on, what are you doing?
What the hell you're doing?" Exactly. What are you doing? And I'm pretty sure this continued after.
I hope so.
Stupid Milan and their dumbass PR is gonna have this leak somehow. You understand? We know that it's gonna leak. It's gonna leak that they still continue talking about it, and he's gonna explain his situation, and he's gonna explain that Dele Alli didn't play in 2 years. Now he's taking a red after 10 seconds.
Yeah, but that's his fault.
Exactly.
He's a big boy. Yeah. What the hell? He did it. But again, the optics of it, Steve, it just looks stupid. One, why are you going to the referee? You are not going to change his mind. He just went to the board to change the call. And now you're going to touch his hand. Why? So you can get thrown out too? Maybe that's what he wanted. He wanted to grab the referee so he could get a red card and they could take a week off together and go somewhere, by Napoli or something. I don't understand what the thought process was, Steve.
I don't know. And again, I'm all for sportsmanship. You know, yes, will we take an advantage where we are? You know, we have simulation, we have stuff like that. I've
Yeah.
seen people fall and simulate and say, you know what, it's not. And as much as we got on, you know, Theo Hernandez for
And he
simulating, which
almost
was
did it in this game
and he
again.
almost did it again. He almost did it again. And that's just pure stupidity. And no one's gonna come and say, "Oh no, but I really tripped Theo Hernandez there." Change your
No,
mind,
no,
ref.
no. Don't give him a red. I really did hit his
I
shoelace. Like,
really
come
did hit
on.
him. Give him the penalty shot. Like it's Christmas time. Like it's not Christmas time. We're gonna take the edge and the inches when we're gonna take. Understand the Kyle Walker thing. For me, that's a big lemon on his part, and not sending the right message to your new teammates. After you've put in some really good performances, and you've not someone who's cost us goals, but just something like that was just again
Stupid.
it's a microcosm of Milan's season, right? Like just when things are going better, you come back from a 2-1 loss, bang, you have something else.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And we're going to ask you guys because for me, I might be a little harsh, but it irks me to no end. It just shows that Kyle Walker maybe is not aware of the situation the club and the fans are in at the moment. So we want to ask you guys, do you agree with having sympathy that, you know, for a friend, even though he's on the other team? Because to me, that's not normal. All right. But we want to hear your opinion because you heard me and Steve's opinion. All right. I would be really harsh. If I got in the locker room, I would be having words and maybe we're not friends the rest of the season. But that's just me. But we want to know your opinion, guys. Steve, that's the game. Any other thoughts in regards to the game before we move on?
We need to find some sort of identity, Fabio. And you know, I've been saying it from the beginning of the year with Fonseca. I thought it would change with Conceição. I believed it was changing after the Super Cup. I found that you know we found some teeth in those games against Juve and Inter. I think we need to refine those teeth again. For me, it's the identity. I need to know, you know, regardless of what happens with Conceição from here to the end of the season. But with 9 games left, guys, do you believe that we're still in this race? Like I put it in the chat, guys. Staying alive should be played in every single appearance of Milan, anywhere we go. Anywhere you see red and black, staying alive needs to play. Stay alive. That's all you have to do in this is stay alive because this season in a vacuum has been one where it hurts me so much because there's no runaway team. There's no runaway team. You know, Inter, yes, is playing good soccer, but they're a couple of points away from Naples, who's not been playing good soccer. Atalanta can't beat anybody at home in 2025. Like the lost points that Milan has accumulated throughout the season are things that, you know, instead of us being in ninth, we're somewhere close to the top 4 and fighting for a scudetto and fighting for that second star. This is the importance of games like this. This is the importance of games like Lecce. But the main importance in all this is Milan needs to find some sort of identity.
Yeah, how deep is your love? Oh, thank you, Oscar. That's another good one. All right, let's move on now to our next topic. This segment is brought to you by Football TV Canada, the home of Serie A and the EPL in Canada, which you can also listen to the commentary in Italian, which is great. You can do it in America too. Didn't know that, but just did. Let's start with the first game, Genoa Lecce from Friday. Genoa had this one pretty much early, man. Patrick Vieira's got this team on track, playing well. They had 2 goals. Where was it? I had it here. They had 2 goals by Fabio, the one Maretti. 2 goals to get Genoa in the lead. Lecce did get a penalty back by the striker we've been looking. What's his name? Kristovic, whatever his name is. But got them in, but that wasn't enough. Big outcome from Genoa. What were your thoughts on this one, Steve? Did you get to
The
check
beer man comes in the clutch. That's a Miretti from La Juve.
And this is big getting those valuable 3 points to get Genoa way away from the drop zone, and not good for Lecce because they're not looking good. They're only 3 points from being potentially in the drop zone. So it's a lot of parity towards the end, which we'll talk to in a moment. Now Monza, Parma. Good Lord. Monza, they were so close, Steve. They had about 6 minutes to go. They could smell the 3 points, and they got it taken away by Boni. Not. I thought it was Bronny when I first said, because Bronny, with Gio and the Lakers, it's on my mind. Yeah. But no, it's Boni. He gets the goal to tie and steal the point for Parma. But any thoughts here on Monza? This has to be so defeating.
Yeah, this is defeating on Monza, but even more so defeating on Parma. I get they steal the points, but for Parma, this is 3 points lost and 3 points that they needed in that relegation battle. This is inexcusable by Parma.
Yeah, it was. Another surprising outcome. Udinese at home loses to Verona 1-0. Verona gets the winner by Duda. I just love that name, Duda. All right. He gets the winner and valuable 3 points. Any thoughts on Udinese losing to Verona here?
Another shock result. Honestly, I didn't think this was coming. I thought Udine was, on the back of our heels, along with everybody else. Surprising, Udine dropping points at home, especially against Verona, and we saw Verona earlier this season. No bueno, mi amigo, no bueno.
Yeah, definitely very surprising because Verona has been struggling in 2025. Of course, when they play us, they up their level a little bit, but to beat Udinese 1-0 on the road, very surprising. And then the next game, obviously, we defeat Como at home 2-1. Torino hosting Empoli 1-0. They get their winner in the 70th minute. Any thoughts on Torino getting the victory here?
Again, said it last week. Torino is one of those ball-busting teams. They're going to stay in that section, and unfortunately for them, it's a very slow start to the season. Some inconsistency, and that's what finds them in that position. Somewhere where Milan is right now, and we're not used to being it, is somewhere where Torino is very comfortable.
Well, no squealy in the next game. Let's go wake up early for no reason. Sunday morning, Napoli took the trip to Venezia, and I have to tell you, man, even though I was slightly hungover and woke up early for this one at 6:30, Venezia looked like the better team. They, in the last 15, 20 minutes, they seemed more of the threat to go and get the winner. And Napoli, people on the television said they were worried that Napoli was not going to come out for this one, and they drop a valuable 2 points, Steve.
Yeah, Napoli is showing signs of a team that I can't understand why they're playing like that. So this was supposed to be an advantageous season for them where, yes, unfortunately, financially, they would not have the revenue of Champions League or any other European competition. But it can't be that you show up, in a title race. This was the psychological pressure that had to be put on Inter for their afternoon game against Atalanta that we'll talk about soon was just not put on by Napoli. Conte blaming the grass not being watered on the correct side and this and that. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Make me a margarita pizza, everybody. That's what the Napoli fans have to do because I said it. They would go on a dip near the end of the season. This is not a team built of champions. Losing KK at the winter break, yes, financially got them some money, but I think they did not replace him accordingly. I think they will still put pressure. I think they will still finish second. But unfortunately, finishing second, no one remembers second place.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. This is for our boy Liban Youssef. 5-0 Bologna to Lazio. Somebody check in on Strasbourg, Steve. Because these were coming rapid. 5, ladies and gentlemen, 5 different goal scorers in this game. The only one I'm going to touch base on is the 4th goal, which ends up being from Castro. Now, this is all hard work from our boy Tommy. Dr. Tommy Pobega went out there and stole the ball, made the nice cutback, and there's Romagnoli, unfortunately, the victim, who can't get in front of Castro and ends up with his cheeks on the grass. Castro gets the fourth goal, undoubtedly. 3-0, 4-0. They were rolling in the second half at that point, but Castro knows he's on a yellow suspension. Hadn't got a yellow. If he gets a yellow, we'll miss the next game. Celebrates, takes his shirt off, gets a yellow. Now he's suspended. I mean, this idea and rule is so stupid, but he goes and does it. But Bologna blowing Lazio out of the water. Even the coach, Baroni, had to go over to the Laziale Curva and apologize and take responsibility, Steve, as it don't blame the players, blame me for this result. What is your thoughts on this game?
Chapeau to Bologna, because they have been taking care of business, especially at home. Lazio is just one of those strange teams, guys. Like
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, they played Milan hard. They did, but a last-minute penalty gave them the 3 points. They let Milan back in that game when they should not have let Milan back in that game, because we were at 10 men. Bologna went there, took care of business at home. 5-0 is something. 4-0, they call it the poker. 5-0 in tombola is a cinquina. If you know what a cinquina is, you're a tombola expert. But good on them. I'm impressed by Bologna. We'll talk about it after, but they are my surprise. I did not see them challenging for fourth place.
Big up for Italiano. Italiano's doing the thing that maybe people thought he's looking better than the next. We're going to get to the other game, but let's just quickly touch on Roma winning 1-0. Dubrovnik, or whatever his name is, scores in the 62nd minute to get them over the line. Easy 1-0 win. Any thoughts on this one?
Roma just keep on winning and collecting 3 points, leapfrog Milan, which I never would have thought at the beginning of the year. I thought Roma was heading for a crash. Ranieri is a miracle worker, guys. This is something that I'm really impressed. He looks like a humble little old man who just, you go see him in a corner somewhere in Harry Potter land, and he gives you some kind of spell that makes you win games 1-0. And no one talks about you. No one's talking about Rome. And they're slightly climbing up and still in the race for top 4.
All right. Well, somebody made a good point. Dybala out for a month now. Oof, another injury. That's Dybala's the whole kryptonite on him, is that he just cannot stay healthy. Otherwise, he'd be a solid player. Let's go to the next one. Wake up, your Juve fans. Because it's got to hurt. Back-to-back weeks, Steve. Just poundings. This week comes from Politano's Fiorentina. 3-0. Oh, man. This game, first of all, Gosens and the other guy, let me butcher this name, Mandragora. They score 2 goals in 3 minutes. Shell-shock Juve, who ends up tumbling to 3-0 and losing for a second week in a row this way. What are your thoughts on Fiorentina just stomping Juve out?
So Fiorentina and Juve have had this long hatred relationship where Juve keeps on stealing Fiorentina's best players. Besides Rui Costa and Battistuta, which, we took Rui Costa, and Battistuta ends up going to Rome. The Baggio, the Bernardeschi, the Chiesa, they've all passed this Fiorentina, and I know I'm missing others, but these are the ones that come fresh to my memory.
Was it Nico Gonzalez? Wasn't he on Fiorentina last year?
He was on Fiorentina and went to Juve and took a beating by Fiorentina.
Yeah.
So, guys, Juve doesn't play attractive soccer.
No.
And this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, you went and get Motta because you wanted to, Vlahovic, yes, Justin,
Forgot about that
killing
one. Yeah.
killing my Fanta Calcio because he doesn't even play. Uh, you went to get Motta and you wanted to play the champagne football,
Oof.
and you were winning games. You were winning games at the beginning of the year, or tying games, tying and winning, but you weren't losing. But you were not playing champagne, and you were complaining. All the plastic Juve fans were complaining. Now you're not playing champagne football. You want to crucify your coach because apparently it's his fault, and you're not winning games. You've taken 7 goals in 2 weeks, and you've not scored one. You've not even come close to scoring one. Your prized possession that you've stolen, that Fiorentina stole 70 million from you, because I don't know what happened to Vlahovic. He's a shell of himself. Is not even playing. Doesn't even get to play.
And Fagioli, the rat, with 2 assists. Unbelievable. All right, let's go with the last one now, Steve. This was a big affair. 2 blue and black teams squaring off. At first, I didn't know who was who when I was watching on my little phone at the restaurant. But then I noticed, Inter's in the white kit. Inter taking the 2-0 here. And we'll give one more just for the Interista out there. Taking the 2 goals, of course, one of them was Lautaro Martinez getting on the score sheet. What to say about Atalanta against Inter? This seems to be never something that Gasperini can get past. Inter always seems to get the best of his Atalanta team.
This is Gasperini's black sheep. He cannot beat Limone, Inzaghi, and Inter. No. This game was pretty much even, till there was a strange incident that happened. They were about to take a corner kick. I forget which minute. Hakan made some kind of gesture to the ref saying that someone in the curva for Inter was not well. They had to delay this game to get that person attention. And again, you have to be ready at all times. You have to be on your toes. And they were saying it on the Fubu telecast. They were saying, be on your toes after a long-winded wait time. That's not usually something that happens at the 60th minute. And what happens? They score off that corner kick. It changed the game completely. I think both teams were, had their chances. I think Thuram hits the post in very early. And I think Sommer makes a big save on Plasilic. Then Atalanta just becomes like, hold my beer, I'm so dumb. And that's Gasperini, because sometimes I just question what he wants to do. He gets to a point where he has almost no striker. He takes out Retegui, who was not having a good game. I think Acerbi owned him completely. But you're going up against Inter. Like, at a certain point, you need things to change. And we had, I think it's Emerson, take 2 stupid yellow cards.
Yeah, to get the red card. Yeah.
And then you see we talk about sportsmanship, and we talk about, we had Kyle Walker not trying to
give a red card to his friend.
Yeah, not trying to get Ederson. Yeah, thanks, Liban. You're the best. You have Kyle Walker, who's trying to change the ref's mind to not give Dele Alli a red card. If you look at that red card, Barella, okay, celebrated like as if he won the World Cup. You, ingrateful loser of life that you are, Barella. And I like him. I'm not going to say I like him. But when I see things like that, you are the scum of the earth. You're celebrating someone else's red card. Like as if you scored a goal. Like as if you're I don't know, you were entitled to this red card. It was coming. But Allah, the soccer gods remember these things. And I truly believe, I've said this multiple times, the soccer gods come back. The soccer gods remember these things. And you will you will feel the wrath of the soccer gods. And again, it's too bad. It's too
Damarotali.
bad.
Who
Yeah, but
knows?
it's too bad. What irritates me though even more, if it would be a Milan player or an Inter player who would be celebrating that card, the newspapers would have took him to the trash. But because it's Barella, he gets a free pass. Barella gets a free pass when he's talking to the ref and when he's putting his hands on the ref and when he's screaming at the ref. The soccer gods will remember Barella.
Yeah. I agree. All right, let's just look at the standings real quick here. Inter now sole possession again of first place with 64. Napoli had a chance to at least keep it close, but dropped points. So they're there in second place at 61. Atalanta still third, 58. Now Bologna in fourth with 53 points. Solid jump over Juve and Lazio there. Juve and Lazio now fifth and sixth. Roma up to seventh. Fiorentina 8, and there we are 9, which is crazy because when you look at the standings here, only 6 points separates 4th to 9th. So definitely a lot of shaking and moving. The bottom half here, the only ones we're really going to identify, obviously my favorite team, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, there in 15th at 26th. Lecce 16th with 25 points. Parma, same thing, 25 and 17th. Empoli, 3 points off of them with 22. Venezia looking very dire now. And Monza clearly been in the cellar dweller's position the whole year. So, Steve, it's got to be Milan. But you mentioned Bologna is the biggest surprise here, right?
Bologna is by far the biggest surprise. I did not think they would be in fourth. Again, I'm not gonna lie. My biggest disappointment is Milan in ninth place.
100%.
I don't think they have a team that belongs in ninth place. I think we did this to ourselves. A combination of bad management and just a toxic environment keeps us in and dropping stupid points, really stupid points. But we're still alive, guys. We're still alive. There's
the cardiac kids, Steve.
It's gonna be match day 30, and that's against Naples. And Naples, I don't know if they needed this week off. I really don't know if they needed this week off. I think after what you saw against Venezia, I think they would have rather have gotten on the soccer pitch. I think this international break helps Milan more than it does Naples. And I'm curious. I'm curious to see what happens match day 30.
All right, guys. This has been FUBU. Let's do this segment. All right. This segment's been brought to you by Football Canada. Let's go, Steve. We got a couple of more things. You had another great graphic I want to bring up here. There's a couple of talking points to talk about. Where do you want to start here, Steve? You kind of lead us here. Where are we going here?
So it would be smart to start at Elliott and Redbird, right? And that graphic there is, it comes from Sempre Milan through La Repubblica, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to give credit to where I take these screenshots from. And that's basically, in a nutshell, Milan's season. So it's so leaky at Milan, and so much false information gets out and goes to the press, where Elliott needed or found that they needed to come out with something and say, guys, what you're hearing is false. Redbird is the owner of Milan. Yes, there are people who are in important positions at Milan that have worked at Elliott, but Redbird is the owner of Milan. Elliott is the lender of the funds to Redbird so that they could have purchased Milan. And I found this just comical because it doesn't happen with any of the other ownerships group. I don't know. I don't even know who owns Inter right now. Is it the Tree Oak Tree,
Yeah,
Cabana
it's Oak
Sucre? I
Tree.
don't know. Yeah, so we don't know. It doesn't happen anywhere else, but it happens at Milan, and I just found it hilarious that we have to even explain who owns what.
It is crazy. And there's a lot of talk in regards to other things that we know is very important to our management. So we're going to get to that in just a minute. But we got to give a little love because there was a little good news sprinkled in here, right? First, let's start with something on the pitch. Our Milan female squad, despite looking very similar standing wise, out of only 10 teams in the Serie A female division, we're in fifth place there, but they were able to stage a beautiful comeback against Inter, who
Two
is
times.
two times.
2 times.
3-3, they end up stealing a point. Inter is technically in second place with Juve being the top female squad. So what a comeback. Any thoughts on the female Milan squad? At least having the comeback, just maybe Conceição, his way is spreading over there as well,
Absolutely. I think, female soccer doesn't get its just. I think, there's not enough coverage regarding female soccer and what's happening in the Campionato Femminile. I don't know enough to be an expert on it, but I saw that, hey, Milan comes back 2 times against Inter in the female derby. It's time to put it up and time to give the women some props.
I know that Juve team got a big superstar this weekend. That's all I know. I don't know nothing else, but I just know that. All right, so we made a little female headway here in the in the boardroom, should I say. We got a new chief branding officer, and let's tell us a little bit more about what you found out about her, Steve.
Yeah, so this was an interesting move. She's chief branding officer.
Francesca, I like it.
Yes, and congratulations. I think this is a cool move. Her resume speaks for itself. She's worked at places like Nike, Ferrari, building brands there and taking on more and more responsibility. This is an important position, and it's again, it's really, really nice to see, for how dysfunctional sometimes our Milan is in the front office, to make moves like this where you start understanding that Milan is, yes, a club that many people love, but yet it also has to become something even more if you want it to be financially solvent. And what it has to become a brand. I'm afraid, and we'll talk about it a little bit to the right. I hope they don't go that Juve route where they turn it into like a streetwear thing, because I just don't think that that's the way that Milan fans would appreciate it. But I leave it to the experts. You know me, I'm all for the Fort jerseys and stuff like that, but I want to see this club be financially stable moving forward.
Well, maybe this could be a rumor. I could be way off of base here, but I heard one of the first things she did was made a call to get Vinny one of those WWE Championship Milan belts, because maybe this is what Milan cares about now, Stevie. We're not going to win trophies. We're going for WWE titles now.
WWE titles. That's where we've reached.
Listen, I know a lot of people, and our own Vinny T is one of them, who wants to get his hands on one of those belts. So if it happens, here on MWP, you're going to be the first to know about it. All right, before we go on to what we're going to see next year, let's talk about a little bit of news, because, again, we're back into this rotation. I don't know about you guys, but I heard they spent $50 million on San Donato, and now that seems to be where the Futuro is going to play maybe in the future. I'm not quite sure. What a beautiful $50 million training ground they're going to have. But we're back to this idea, an idea that you said this guy proposed, Scaroni, proposed back in 2019. We are back in time, Steve.
This is so sad, Fabio. This is so sad because it's basically Italian bureaucracy at its best.
Worst, yeah.
He's saying it obviously tongue in cheek because he did say something similar to this in 2019. We spoke a little bit off air. Am I a fan of sharing the stadium with Inter? No. Am I a fan of, again, investing money in the San Siro where we're going to have to split revenue? No. Am I excited that Milan and Inter will own the San Siro? Yes. Uh, am I interested in seeing what San Siro will become? We're seeing some transformations, Camp Nou and Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. But guys, those stadiums there, they're going like state of the art. What I am afraid of is both Milan and Inter, and this is both of them. It's not one or the other. Are gonna start cheaping out at what they want to do at the San Siro and build, and we're gonna be owning a monument because San Siro is a monument for X number of more years. Where I don't know if it's going to be at the level of, Jamie puts inside the chat, Old Trafford and what they want to do with Old Trafford with hundreds of billions of dollars, and it looks like a Cirque du Soleil circus tent. But again, those are renderings. I don't know. I'm tired of this stuff. I'm tired because everybody else seemed to have had like a very easy way to build a stadium. Udine built a stadium. Atalanta is fixing theirs or fixed theirs. Who else is going to get a new one? I don't think, we saw Juve and Torino share stadiums, and Juve quickly went away from that. We know you have Sampdoria and Genoa that they share a stadium. Great, but this is Milan and Inter. Are we still in 1990 where we need to share a stadium? No. I think if he said it in 2009 and this is what we're going with now, we've wasted 6 years.
That's the part. It's really sad. Is that we thought one of Redbird's big pillars of why they bought this team is because they could see the profit of turning the stadium into the value of the overall club. That with that stadium, the 1.2 billion could head up to the 2, 3, 4 billion evaluation, and then they would sell us to somebody a lot more profitable. It doesn't seem to be the case. We're back at square one. We'll see what happens, because with Milan, with Italy, with all this topic of a new stadium, it's just a hamster wheel. We just keep going in circles and we're going nowhere. So we'll see what happens. Last piece of news in regards to your lovely thumbnail here. We've got to talk about this leak for next season, Steve. Now, Compadre Franco, one of my buddies here in New York City, nothing scratches him in the wrong spot quite like this crest. A lot of Milan fans do not like this whatever the hell it's called, monographic, whatever it is. I hate it with a passion. Do not touch the badge. And I just noticed I'm wearing one of them and I forgot about it. Do not alter the crest. And they're going to do it not once, but twice next season. Those are the rumors. Supposedly, the away kit will feature not our normal logo, our normal crest, but the old school from the from the early 80s, right? The devil. Now, sometimes you have this on the back of your jersey, which is perfectly fine up by the collar. Nobody just hates that. But they want to put it as the crest for the away jersey next year with whatever white kit they're going to come up with. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Look, I'm not. I agree with Compadre Frank. I love the fashion. I love the whole. Trying different things. I just wish that we would try it on a third jersey, and again, I think it was on the third jersey, the gray one this year. I really like to see the actual patch, our crest. Stay on the red and black jersey. Let's not touch that one. I think once you keep that one the way it's supposed to be, I think the other ones are fair game. Try it on whichever one you want. I don't care. But
I disagree, Steve. They shouldn't touch him on any of them. Why? You could do whatever you want, Puma, or whoever is coming up with these ideas. But why do you have to alter the crest color? Why, Steve?
I have no idea why, but you see teams like Benfica, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester United. Uh, they're all doing it for some reason. I don't know why, but again, I have no problem with trying different things. I just have a problem trying different things on stuff that I really like. And I really like Milan's home jersey. And I don't think that one should ever be altered, ever be changed. The rest for me is fair game.
All right. Well, guys, what do you think? Do you like this leak? Do you want to possibly see something different? Do you believe, like I do, that the crest is sacrilegious? Don't alter it. Don't change it. No monochromatic anything. Leave it alone. Or you'll say, get with the times. This is what people do now. This is the new fashion. You're too old school. I don't know, guys. But leave your comment. Tell us if you're more on Steve's side. You say everything else but the home kit, leave it alone. Or, or you're like me. Just don't touch him at all. Don't touch him at all. All right, Steve, we got a couple more topics. Let's go before we close this up. We wanted to talk about this going forward, right? What do these 2 wins mean for Milan? So I present this to you, Steve. What has your thought process changed? I know we have 9 games left, but do you feel in your heart, are we comfortable or should we be worried? What do you think? I mean, there's no way we should be comfortable. No way.
We're worried. We're worried all the way to match day 38. They have to string a winning streak together past 2 games. And now the test is Napoli, and what Napoli are you going to get? And then after Napoli, I'm pretty sure it's the we're going to have a Coppa Italia clash, and then 3 days later we'll play Fiorentina. So the games are not going to get easier. For me, I'm worried, but I'd like them to create a winning streak. I'd like them to build some confidence in these last 8 games. And again, like I said, I don't know. I cannot tell the future, but whatever happens to Conceição happens to Conceição. I'm ready to wipe the slate clean if we have to, and get proper people in the proper places to make the right decisions.
Should we be expecting much of a rotation from here on out?
I do not expect a rotation. I expect him to use his players wisely, especially after Naples when we play Inter in the Coppa Italia. I don't think
do you think Inter is going to have any rotation that maybe could benefit us?
I don't think Inter will rotate in the Coppa Italia.
No. Yeah, I don't think so either. It would be.
I think Inter's fed up of losing to us.
Yeah, but in regards to having to look at the bigger picture for them, you would say Coppa Italia is their third, of what they're looking at, because they have Champions League, I believe the following weekend, and they also have the following week, and they're valuing the Scudetto far more than I would believe they're valuing their position in the Coppa
Absolutely.
Italia.
For Inter, it's Champions League first, Scudetto second, and Coppa Italia third. It's always been like that.
So it'd be really interesting to see if they do a bit of a rotation when we come back off the international break to save their starters to go there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Key takeaways here, Steve. What needs to be improved from this past game, the past couple of games, our form in the last couple of weeks, to the next game against Napoli?
Defensively, we have to tighten up. He has to find a center back pair that works. I don't think Gabbia and Chow work.
I agree. That's not a good pair.
He has to also find some cohesion between the midfield and the back four, and he also has to find a way to get service to Jimenez. He's dying up there, and Tammy comes into that game against Como, And it's look at where he's getting that ball and he's making that pass to Tijani. That's way too high for strikers like that. It's not always going to happen that way.
All right. So, final thing to kind of talk about here, Steve. We had a little bit of good news, so let's at least mention it, right? It looks like it's happening any day now. Pulisic contract is coming, supposedly locking him down to at least 2029, if not 2030, like Tijani. They're going to be changing his salary from 4 to 5 with bonuses included as well, so it can get even higher for him. But your thoughts on this one? Locking down, it's very fitting that we're going to give contract extensions to our two best players this season. That's kind of what we want. So, what are your thoughts on this? Pulisic, well-deserved, correct?
Pulisic, well-deserved, like I said. Most important player, 1A or A, whatever you want to call it, between him and Tijani, and those are signed up. So if we can be positive in any way, it will be that we have those two guys signed.
I agree. I think Pulisic has been outstanding. Again, everybody has always looked at Leao. That Leao is the head of the ship here, but it's sometimes Leao has amazing games, sometimes he doesn't. But Pulisic has this energy, this fight always in him, and even when Tijani's been running to the ground, playing full games over and over again, he's been having an outstanding season. Steve, I saw a stat. If this is to be believed, we bought Tijani for 21, 22 million, something along that. I'm sure Gio would know the exact numbers. This guy is valued at $75 million now. To me, that's what I want. You want to play Moneyball? Keep doing things like that, but do not immediately resell Tijani. I think that's what a lot of people were worried about, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you have that fear at all?
I do, because in European soccer, contracts means nothing. It just means that you're selling this player to another team for the fee that they are willing to pay, with a contract that he's going to want minimum that, if not more. Look, not making Champions League is something that's going to be very, very number crunchy for Milan. Let's put it that way. So we need to find a way to make it to the Champions League. That should be it's sad, but that should be goal number one.
Absolutely. All right, so we have no super chats. Did we have any questions in Patreon? I don't know. It's usually Vinny's thing. I didn't look at it, but let me look at it really quickly. But I don't believe we did. But other than that, we're going pretty long here. Let me see. Any questions? Nope, nothing. All right, so let's go to our final extra time. This will be a Geo call parting shots. So Steve, you go first, because I have a particular rant I'm going to go on about. But what's your final thoughts on this week here?
It's gonna be a nice international break for me. I will enjoy Italy. I will get away from the heart pulping Milan watching that I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. For me, it's important that Milan gets on a winning streak, man. They get on a winning streak. And again, we need the points. I don't think we're a worse team than Lazio and Roma. Bologna is proving me wrong, but I think we should be above those two teams.
I agree, 100%. All right, so my parting shot, or what I'm going to give you here in a few extra minutes of our extra time. I have to say this. The Curva Sud. Now, I was told from somebody in attendance that when they came in at the 15th minute, they sent almost like a shockwave to the players. Like the players, not to say it gives them an excuse, all right? Because I don't want to come off saying anything like that. But it provides this atmosphere that when things are going wrong and you start to tighten your grip, all of a sudden you can't hold it anymore. Right? Things start to progressively get worse because the pressure is coming down on you, because not only are you not performing well, you're not starting well, but now your home fans are not on your side, which is sad, because everybody knows they have a right to protest. Fine. I got that. And I get a kick out of hearing Cardinale vendere, vatine. I love hearing it. All right. I love hearing it. But you know who doesn't hear it? And you know who doesn't care? Cardinale. He doesn't care. You're chanting for somebody that if this guy can hear it, I would hear it first, because it would cross Long Island before it gets to Manhattan, okay? He doesn't care. Why don't you waste your time chanting at the idiots sitting in the stands? You have Moncada, every once in a while you have Ibra, you have Forlani sitting there. Why don't you chant at the people who can hear you? Cardinale doesn't care. You want to know how he would hear you? Stop going to the stadium. Stop buying tickets. American ownership understands one thing and one thing only. Dinero, all right? Le soldi, money. That's all they care about. And if you go out there and you chant, you've already spent the money. So I don't understand whether you decide to take a 15-minute smoke break and then wander in like you're the superstars of the game, or you're there from the beginning and you chant for the jersey like you leave a banner there. If it's disgusting you, what you see, your support or lack thereof, or your malcontent, should I say, is only making things worse for the players. The players, and even Leao has said it, the players know they're struggling. The players know that they're going through a hard time, but they feel like it's us against the world. Not even our fans are on our side, because they're too busy worrying about an owner who hasn't shown up since September. The last time he saw a Milan game was in Madrid. He was not at the San Siro for the Madrid game. That was in Madrid. He doesn't care about our club, all right? He left it in these idiots' hands. If you're going to waste your time and chant to the people who can hear you, not the person who is hanging out with J-Lo and partying on Madison Avenue. He don't give a shit about us. Stop wasting your time. That's all I have to say. Steve, it's always a pleasure, buddy.
Thank you, Fabio. Thank you to everybody who chimed in. Thank you to Lord Figo, who doesn't want to pay for us to see his comments.
Guys, ovunque and sempre.
Forza Milan!
Forza Milan sempre! Peace out, everybody. Good night.